You ever just have CGC books piling up for weeks with no time to record a video and show off what you've been getting in? Well, that's been the case for me. Some of these are books that I had in submissions, and there's actually a couple in here, I think, that were purchases. Some of this is going to be stuff I'm going to be looking to move, and there is some awesome PC editions in here as well. So hope you guys are ready to lock in. We're going to check out this big stack of CGC books, and hopefully you guys will find something here you think is pretty cool. All right, first up, this is actually a friend's book. I pressed and cleaned it for him, and he asked me if I could submit it for him, so I did. And this is Green Lantern issue number 49, and this is a newsstand copy, so really neat. He was actually wanting to know what the price on this would bring. It wasn't something he was looking to sell. He just couldn't find value for it, being a newsstand, and I told him I wasn't really sure. It's the Tom Brady cover, him being the GOAT. So thought it was super cool. I actually just sent in a direct one of these myself, so really awesome book there. Next up, Something is Killing the Children, issue number 11. This is, I think this was a 1 in 25 Jenny Frizen cover. This was a pickup right off the shelf for me. I love Jenny Frizen on Something's Killing the Children. And the first time I submitted this, they said it was like a 9.0. And I just completely forgot that I had it sitting around, so I cracked it open and sent it back in. And, of course, we hit the 9.8 because sometimes... Moving on. Next up, we're going to get into a little Spawn action with Spawn issue 62. And this is that beautiful Angela cover. This is probably, to me, the best Angela cover in the Spawn run in a CGC 9.8. If this had been her first appearance cover, I think it might be worth a little more. Just saying. All right, next up, we've got a pair here. This is Nottingham issue number 1, and this is the Comic Corner exclusive with that red blood foil. Beautiful book. I love it, and we got 2 of those, so really excited about these. And even their logo on the back has got a little foil action going on there. So Nick and I both loved this series. And, this A cover, when it came out, I thought was the best cover of the year. So when I found out they were doing a Virgin with foil and they were just going to throw some foil on the blood, I was like, dude, I got to have that. All right, next up, some of you may know I collect rock and roll comics, and there are some in there that are kind of rare, very hard to find, this being one of them, issue number 40, the NWA and Ice Cube. And this one right here is a CGC 8.5. Every time you see this book on eBay, which is most of the time the only place you're going to see it, it is really rough and really beat up. But I found this one at Heroes Comic-Con last year. Awesome pack cover. Found this at Heroes Comic-Con last year. And this one hit an 8.5 white pages. Funny story on the NWA book. I'm just now talking about, it's pretty rare. It's hard to find. It's very scarce, especially in high grade. I was explaining this to my buddy Sean at the Atlanta Comic Convention that they do 4 times a year here in Atlanta while I was flipping through rock and roll comics, and he was asking me about, is any of those worth money? So I just gave him the spill on the NWA one, and I flipped to another copy, only the second copy I've ever found, ever. And this one hit a 9.0. I believe there's only like maybe 12 copies on the census. Maybe 12 copies on the census after I added these 2. Beautiful cover and back cover. I love the art here. Now, originally, I did think that this was going to grade much higher than this. I was thinking 9.4, maybe a 9.6. However, I don't know, man. I guess I never really looked at this bottom stable here. Has some rust on it. So cleanest 9.0 you're going to find. I mean, it is very nice. But yeah, 8.5 and a 9.0 on that book is always pretty good. Next up, we have another pair. We're kind of going in pairs right now. Sorry. This one right here is Street Fighter issue number 1, the first appearance of all the Street Fighter cast from Malibu Comics 1993. This is just the regular standard cover. I also submitted the gold foil cover, and hopefully you can see a little bit of shiny action going there. Now, on the gold foils, I think there was around like 3 copies, 3 9/8s. 3 9/8s, this being the 4th one on the planet. I've had these books pretty much since I started collecting. I got them in a trade with some Mortal Kombat books from my buddy Comics and Death Metal, and I've had them ever since, and both of these guys hit 9/8s. If you're interested, I am going to be looking to move this set for sure, but that gold foil makes it, it's kind of a hefty price, but, I mean, there's only 4 of those gold foils out there now, so if you're interested in the Street Fighters, definitely let me know. Next up, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 62 and a 9.8. 9.8. This is actually one of 2 copies that I got back in this submission, but it's been so long since I've shown books that I've gotten back. I did sell one of these because I have one for my PC. I sent 2 more copies that I had. The last 2 copies I had, both of those hit 9/8s. I think there's 19 9.8s of this, and this is the very last issue of Volume 1, and 3 of them were mine, so that's actually really cool, being something that is that hard to get in a 9.8. It's a very low print run towards the end of the Turtles series, Volume 1, so I've had a lot of people hitting me up about this one, so by the time you see this video, this one may be gone, and it may just be down to my one single copy for the PC. Speaking of PC, if you don't know what PC means, PC stands for Personal Collection, stuff that is mine. It is never going to be for sale. Well, that's not the intentions anyway, unless I find something else that is just like, I gotta have this, but the only way I can get it is if I move something off on my wall, and then, it just becomes a whole thing. I start crying. It's ugly. But this one here will never be on the chopping block. I've been trying to do this Mortal Kombat 9.8 set for a couple years now, but I've been going really hard on it for the last 6 months or so. This was the last of the super hard ones, the ones that I was just like, dude, I may never get this one in a 9.8, but I finally did it with the Katana and Melina. So happy to finally hit the 9.8 on this book. I can't tell you guys how many raw copies of this I have bought over the years, and every time I get one in, man, I've spent anywhere from $30 to $80 on this book, because the range goes all over the place, because this book is really hard to find, especially if it's not beat up. And if it's not beat up, you're gonna pay up for it. I think I paid almost $100 for this copy. Paid almost $100 for this copy. If you're not a Mortal Kombat collector, then you may think I'm crazy. But if you're a Mortal Kombat collector and you're kind of in the know about these books, then you know why I would have spent that much on this book. It was because I thought it could hit a 9.8, and it did. It absolutely did. So really cool. Greg Horn art inside on here. And finally knocked this one off the list, baby. So we should be smooth sailing for a while now on the Mortal Kombat 9.8s. Next up, my first ever Todd McFarland signed book. My first ever CGC in-house signing book. And I got this back like a month ago. Maybe a little longer than a month ago. And when I got it back, the slab was busted. It was cracked. Pieces were all down in the bottom. It was rattling around. And I had to send it back in for mechanical error. And then it took, I don't know, another month to get it back. I finally got it back. And it is Flaming Carrot issue number 27. Yes, issue number 27. Flaming Carrot 27. This is the only time Todd McFarland ever drew the Ninja Turtles. So you guys know I'm a big Turtles lover. And I said last time he did this, I was like, if he ever does another one, I might send my Flaming Carrot in. I was like, that would be a cool one to do, just because it's Turtles. It's the only time he's ever done Turtles. Maybe that would be a cool one that I would do. Now, I do appreciate that Todd McFarland did give me the full signature. I did not get the shorthand signature, which was fantastic. I begged on here. I wrote a note and begged for a green or orange marker. I wished he would have done that because where he did the D on Todd McFarland, I'll just show a picture of it. Where he did the D, it falls right in line with the black on the air balloon here. So it kind of looks like taupe. It almost looks like it turns into a P, or maybe it's a B. It's kind of hard to follow. So, the black probably wasn't the best choice for Todd to use on this one. I know he had a big, huge bucket of markers, different colors and stuff, but it's all good, I guess. I mean, I only paid, however much for it, $100 and something. But anyway, but yeah, I'm very, very psyched to have this. But the problem is I'm probably going to have to send it back. I'm going to have to send it back and let CCS press this book, which I absolutely hate the thought of because they do a terrible job. But however, this book was definitely mishandled at CGC, and so it should have definitely hit over a 9.0. And so I'm going to have to send that back. Let CCS press it and get the grade bump that way because I sent it off and it looked wonderful, and I get it back and it looks terrible. I had 3 backing boards in there with an oversized bag. That way it would fit in there with the 3 backing boards. It would still be tight but not over tight, and yeah. They monkey-knuckled it anyway. Next up, we have Strange Tales, issue 114. Now, this one right here is a cool book because a lot of people think this is the true first appearance of Captain America in the Silver Age. However, it is not. Yes, there is a Captain America guy on the cover. That's not Captain America. That is the Acrobat. Acrobat disguised as Captain America. First Captain America since 1954. Well, not really. Also, I believe that there is something in here about a Doctor Strange prototype that precedes, or maybe this is the second appearance of Doctor Strange. I can't remember. I really can't remember. But there was something about Doctor Strange in here that is kind of like a prototype thing, or is it or is it not? I can't remember exactly, but there's something in here that has to do with Doctor Strange. That's a pretty big deal, too. Yeah, so 5.0 cream to off-white pages on this one. Jack Kirby and Dick Ayer's story. So, it's still a really, really cool book, even though the main reason people want it is, actually a fake. It's a facade. It's a facade. It's fraud, dude. All right, we're getting close to the end, guys. This next one is another book that you're not going to see all the time. Very hard to find, and I absolutely love it, man. The Jetsons, issue number 1. First appearance of all the Jetsons characters in a comic book. Gold Key from 1963. And this thing has a beautiful cover, beautiful artwork. I love these old gold keys in the Del 4 colors where they have the great pinups on the back. I've actually started collecting some of these myself because a buddy of mine that lives close by, that he always picks these up, and it's definitely started to rub off on me. I've started picking a few up, but yeah, this is, I mean, for a 3.0, this thing presents extremely, extremely well. The colors are beautiful. They are very vibrant and full, so this is a really, really cool book to have right here. We're getting down to it, guys. We're getting down to it. Next up, we've got Marvel Premiere, issue number 47, CGC 9.4 white pages. So that's the first time that we get Scott Lang as the new Ant-Man from 1979. Just a great cover. I love the artwork inside that book. Just super cool. Now, this is a book. I was going to record a video about finding this book, where I found it, and how much I paid for it, and all this, that, and the other. But I get so busy, man, sometimes, and I didn't have time to do it. So I'm just going to show you the Avengers issue number 8. I picked this up at 2nd and Charles. For those of you who have them around you, then you know what I'm talking about when I say 2nd and Charles never has anything legit. But I always go in there and I flip through their binder with the books that are in their case in it. They have pictures of them, like scans. And I saw this in there. I couldn't believe it. So I picked it up, and we got a 4.5 out of this one. So not too bad at all. Off-white pages. I've got pictures I take pictures of all my books before I send them to CGC. And that way I know if something happened to them. And yeah, there was a little bit of issue happened with that one. but still not too bad, especially for what I paid for it. Next up, we have a book that was on my 2023 want list. I wanted Detective Comics issue 566 in a 9.8 this year. I just loved this book, man. Batman Rogues Gallery cover. And, I mean, it's hard to beat this cover. You have all these great villains there. And for something like this, I mean, it's a 1986 book. To me, you know, if this is something you're going to put some money into, it's got to be in a 9.8. It's got to be in a 9.8. So we missed the boat a little bit on this one being a 9.6. I think I'm going to crack that open and shoot for the 9.8 on that one. However, we did send in two, and bam! I did get the 9.8 on this one. So both of these were 9.8 candidate books. However, this one, it just, I don't know, man. It had a little shine to it. It had just a little more shine to it. I said, you know what? I'm going to send both of these guys in. I'm going to send both of them in because I believe this other copy is just going to make this one stand out just that much more to push it over the edge. So I end up with at least one to put on my wall. So it did work, and I still believe that this one right here is absolutely a 9.8. I think that this one right here just looked, it just had a little extra, I don't know. I can't even explain it. Neither one of them have any spine ticks or color breaks. The corners are sharp, no tanning. Everything's great on both of them. But this one right here just had a little extra pizzazz to it. And I think that hurt the other one a little bit. So I'm probably going to send that other one in by itself and see what we get on it. Next up, we've got Batman 194 in an 8.5 with white pages. One of my favorite covers. I did a video on this recently, I think for TikTok, when I got it from mycomicshop.com as a raw book. Carmine Infantino is, to me, one of the absolute greatest Batman artists ever as far as these covers go. And I said I wanted to start putting some more Batman, some more Superman, you know, a little more DC on my wall. And Carmine Infantino is definitely an artist that I'm going to add some of his covers to my wall, just to my personal collection of things when I'm sitting here working and I look up and I'm like, man, that looks cool. I love that cover, or I love this, or I love, you know, I want some Carmine Infantino up there, and I think this is one of the most iconic and most awesome covers. I love covers where they bring the trade dress into play with the cover art. I think it's fantastic. So from 1967, we got white pages, hit an 8.5 on it, which I was a little disappointed with, I'll be honest with you. I was a little disappointed. I think this absolutely had 9.0 potential at least, but who knows? I don't know if I'll even mess with cracking this one open. I mean, being an 8.5, if I wanted to upgrade, then these are cheap enough in the 9s that I wouldn't have a problem just going ahead and buying one. But for now, this is definitely going to be perfect for the wall and something I'm excited to put up there and get to stare at all the time. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. You know, like I said, it's been a long time since I've been able to sit down and record a CGC video. As you can see, these have just been stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. But I'd love to know what you guys think about the books that I've recently gotten back, the ones that I've submitted. Would you have submitted them? Or do you think, you know, maybe you shouldn't have sent that one in? What was your favorite book that I sent in and why? If there's any of these that, you know, got you a little tingly inside, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, The Comic Book Chiropractor, or on Two Brothers Comics. Because like I said, some of these are going to be books I'm going to be looking to move. But, you know, otherwise, I hope you guys do enjoy the video and hit the thumbs up. I've got some really cool books that I've purchased lately that I'm going to be recording soon, and a huge, huge grade bump. So make sure you guys stay tuned, keep the notifications on, and as always, collect your way.